What's up dudes? So today's video is going to be how to make a bad snare sound good-ish. Now, we've all been there, we've all been a beginner at some point in getting our first really cheap, crappy drum set, and they sound horrendous, especially the snare drums. The snare drums with beginner kits always sound disgusting. This is one of them, so this video is going to show you how to make your beginnery, crappy sounding snare sound good-ish. This isn't how to make a good snare sound great, this isn't how to make a great snare sound amazing, it is how to make a crap snare sound acceptable or good-ish. So, I think it comes down to three things. First of all, you need a decent head on there. Second of all, you need to be able to tune it okay. And three, just because the shells have really horrible ring, maybe a bit of dampening. So we'll tackle those one at a time. Just a quick bit of backstory on this drum. It was actually donated to me by an old landlady. It was from a very cheap drum kit. It's just been sat in a loft for years, I think, not played. And just so we've got a reference of before and after, this is what it just sounds like before I've done anything, which is rank. So we'll start on those three things now. The first one is you definitely need to get rid of these horrible factory standard crappy heads. They sound crap, they're just not good. So the first step, I'm going to take this off and then put on a new head. Finally got it off. This thing is disgusting, so I don't think I ever want to see this again. Okay, so the different head that I'm going to put on here is already used, but I guess it kind of goes with the beginnery sort of making a good snare sound, not amazing. But basically, this is the only spare head I had. It was actually donated to me by West End Music on Norwich Road in Ipswich. Do go check them out. Great music store. That was a little shameless plug. So it is used, but it's a Remo Weather King Ambassador batter head. So I think this is probably going to sound pretty cool. Well, again, sticking with the theme, it's going to sound good-ish compared to the old one. So I'm going to put this on, and then we'll start step 2, which is tuning. Okay, cool. So the new head is on. Step 2 now is tuning, so we'll start with the bottom head of the snare. Now just a quick tip, this is something I actually got taught by a friend of mine. When you're tuning the bottom head, if you slip a stick under the snare wires and rest it on both sides of the rim, you then don't get any horrible interference from the snare wire. So there's a million different ways that you can tune snare drums and tune drums in general. I'm not going to go massively in depth on it in this video because I might do a future video on different ways to tune your snare drum. But basically, for the sake of this video, I'm just going to be tuning them all roughly to the same pitch. Now I've roughly got them all the same pitch, we're going to flip it over and tune the batter head. Okay, so as for the top of the snare drum, I am going to spend a bit more time tuning it and explain to you a little bit more about what I'm actually doing. With the bottom head, the head on here is pretty messed up, so I kind of just got them all to a relative pitch and it's cranked fairly high, slightly higher than I want the batter head to be. So first of all, I'm just going to go around, they're all finger tight at the moment. I'm going to get them all just sort of about 2 turns in, and then we'll go from there. 1, 2, and I'm going to make sure to go opposites. 1, 2. I just realised I've been saying, okay, so at the start of like every clip, I'm going to try not to do that anymore. So that wasn't even on purpose. Now that we've got the snare roughly 2 full rotations around, what I would do at this point is just sort of check to see if there are any bits which don't feel quite as sort of evenly tight as the rest of it. Now that we have got the snare with 2 sort of full rotations, what I do at this point is I check around for the sort of pressure near each lug and see if any of them don't seem as tight as the others. Straight away this one I can see and feel is a lot looser than the others, so I'm just going to give that a half turn. Maybe a full turn actually. Okay, now this is nowhere near going to sound good yet, but this is just sort of gradual progression. Let's see how it's sounding. Snare off. Snare on. I mean, it's already sounding a little bit better, which is cool. It's just not quite high enough yet, so I'm going to give it another half rotation all the way around. Maybe just a quarter. Okay, oh, I was about to say it again. I've just done another quarter turn. Let's hear how it sounds. So snare off. Getting better. Snare on. Still good, it's just got a bit of a weird ring to it. So at this stage it really is just sort of fine tuning and getting a sound that you like. Just remember, this isn't about making a fantastic snare sound. I understand that the finished thing probably is still going to sound a bit rubbish, but it's all about just trying to make that horrible snare drum that you get with your beginner kit sound a little bit, you know, better. So once we've got this done, I'll play a little before and after of the 2 sounds and we'll see how much difference it's made. So all I'm going to do now is a bit of fine tuning and then I'll get on to stage 3. Okay, so I've got that close enough for where I want it. Let's hear it with the snare on. It's already sounding so much better, but stage 3 is where it's going to be really important, which is muting. So for this we're going to be using Moon Gel. It's so important to carry this on you or something of an equivalent, because it really does do wonders for drums that just don't have nice shells or just don't tune nicely, or if they've got a ring that you just don't want to be hearing. I always have these on me. In fact, I'm doing another video next week about 5 things I think you should always keep with you at gigs, and this will probably make an appearance then. So what we're going to do, actually for those who aren't familiar with what Moon Gel is, it's basically just like these little sticky blue rectangles. These are a bit grubby, sorry, because I use them at gigs all the time, but you can stick them on your drums, and they basically just get rid of those horrible sort of rings and overtones that you don't want. So this should make an instant difference. We'll play again without it, which is pretty rank. Snare on. So much ring and overtone, right? This should do the difference. You hear that? That's instantly muted so much of it. And to be honest, we're pretty much done. It just needs a little bit more fine tuning and then we're pretty much done, I think. Okay, so I know I didn't go massively into depth, but this video really was just a brief video about making your bad snare sound good-ish. And I hope it's helped for any beginners watching. I know most of my viewers are beginner drummers, so these are things to take into consideration. Making sure you've got good heads, you learn how to tune the drums properly, and you maybe use some form of muffling and muting on the drum. I am going to do another video in the future all about tuning your drums, so we'll get to that at another stage. But basically, I want to just play the drum one last time and compare it to how it was to how it is now, and then we can hear the difference. As we can hear, it does still sound a bit crap, but way better than it did. So I hope this has helped in some way. If you've got any further questions, let me know. If you thought this video was helpful, leave a little comment for me, that would be great. Like I say, most of my viewers are beginner drummers, so these are just little tips I think will help you in getting your first kit to sound a bit better. The same sort of rules apply with your tom-toms as well, so you can sort of adapt it that way. Thanks for watching. I just dropped my drumstick, but whatever you're doing today, stick 2 just dropped, go out and smash it.